Okay, people, I'm back. Tales from the Pen, just bringing you a little brief video. If you're new to the channel, please go down, hit subscribe. Maybe hit a like. Leave a comment if you want. I'm not even gonna label this like Tales from the Pen Part 17, because this is more like a public service announcement. Because I know a lot of people don't watch my lives. So I'm going to talk about a little something that I spoke about on my lives, okay? So if you follow my lives, you understand that the other night I was speaking about a friend of mine whose daughter was on life support. She attempted to kill herself. She was 13 years old. She was being bullied at school. I talked about it. My friend O, he's in Feds, Fort Dix. And, you know, we got word that she died last night. 13 years old, being bullied at school. And she took her own life at such a young age. Don't know how. I didn't ask. Because when, you know, he was telling me about it, I didn't want to be like, well, how? Well, what did she do? I didn't want to do that. I just listened to him, I talked, you know, because what could I say? What can you say to somebody who's lost a child? What could you say? I lost my mom, and I'm still suffering over that shit. I lost my dad, same thing, my pops. But to lose a child is something different. And I just want to reiterate on some things I spoke about. Because again, I know a lot of people don't watch my lives. I got 10,000 people and only maybe 1,000 watch the lives. But I want to say to parents, you have to be in your children's lives. You have to understand everything that's going on in the psyche of today's society. It's a whole different society than when we grew up as parents. Okay? It's a whole different world, especially with this internet, especially with Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, and all the rest of this stuff that is supposed to dummy these kids down. All they do is they're in their phones all damn day. It's like an addiction. It's really like an addict. Seriously. But you have to know what's going on in your kid's life. You have to be in their life. You have to be, you know, they have to know that you're going to be there. Or you can do like my daughter calls me and she's like, Dad, you're annoying. You're annoying sometimes. You know what that means, people? That means I'm doing my job. I know all her passwords. I know, you know, the phone password. I know all of that. I bought that. I bought that phone. You know, you have to be nosy, unfortunately. And, you know, these kids think, you know, when they're 11, 12, 13 years old, they want their privacy, they want their space, they don't want, no, you can't, you know, unfortunately, in this day and age of society, you can't do that. Especially with Instagram and all the rest of that. I go on her Instagram. The other night I went on her Instagram and we deleted everybody she don't know. I don't play that. Do you know this person? No. Bye. See you. She's 12. See ya. And come to find out that there was a pedophile following her and all her friends. I spoke about that on the live. I forgot the guy's name. This guy's actually on there promoting, I'll give you money, send me pictures, on Instagram. He's got a few pages. His name is Sugar Daddy Mike Rob 1. Sugar _ Daddy _ Mike _ Rob _ 1. Or no underscore after the last one. Sugar Daddy Mike Rob 1. What? Promoting. I'll send you money. This guy was following my daughter. She wasn't following him, but he was following her. I don't even play that shit. You can't follow my daughter. Now again, I might seem like, oh my God, to the, you know, because some of her friends have said, your dad's kind of strict. Look at my face. You're fucking right, I'm strict. Excuse me for my language. You're right, I'm strict. I have to be strict. Because if I'm not, who will be? If I'm not there to govern, who will be? If I'm not there to pay attention, who will be? These pedophiles? These birds? Nah, not gonna happen. So people, you need to pay attention to what your kids are doing. Like I said, it's a whole different world. Something gets put on Facebook, that must be it. That must be true. It's on Facebook. It must be true. And that's what happens. Little things happen. You know, these little girls kiss a boy. By the time they get to school the next day, they was running trains with 8 of them. Because that's what happens. Right, people? When you grew up, like, check this out. When you grew up, there was a game. It was called, I don't know what you guys called it. Some of us called it mailman in school. Some of us called it postman in school, where you whisper something in one person's ear, and each person tells it to the next person. By the time it gets to the 12th person, it's totally something different. It could be like Fred went to the bodega. By the time it got to the 12th person, it was Fred was in Attica and killed 12 people. Right? Because that's the day, that's the society we living in. And so once one thing happens, that's it. And as I say on my lives and everything, little girls, there's no such thing as a secret. These little boys don't keep secrets. Because they have to validate who they are, because they think they're men now at 13, 14. And they've been with that girl, and the whole world knows. And then your reputation is ruined. I know girls to this day who in junior high school was doing whatever they was doing. I see them now 20 years later with their kids and family and everything else, more than 20 years. And that's the first thing I think about. Like, oh my gosh, I remember her in school. Don't be that girl. I'm just feeling emotional right now, you know, finding out about, you know, this little girl's off life support and she's not here anymore at 13 years old because she was being bullied in school. It saddens me in this today's society. Because as I also said in my life, you have to understand that when they're this age, they're young, they're impressionable, and their peer pressure is extensive. Girls, boys, whatever it is. Little girls telling other little girls, you haven't kissed a boy yet? Oh, look at them all funny. It's good she ain't kissed a boy yet. I don't want her to have them type of reputation. And yes, I'm strict and nosy. Guess what? I'm doing my job. That's what I'm supposed to do. That's what you're supposed to be as a parent. That's why it pains me. I hate deadbeat dads. I seen people and I know people who, oh, the baby mom won't let me see my child. You're a fucking loser. You have rights. Go to court. Do something. This is from a guy who fought for 7 years. And guess what? I've had custody of my daughter for over a year. Suckers. Don't tell me it can't happen. And I got the worst record ever. But when you're doing good and you're doing right, the good things happen. So I don't want to hear excuses. Because I've heard people tell me, and you know, when I'm working even, and they're telling me about, oh, you know, I got a little criminal history. You know, I did 6 months for bribery. So, you know, the courts are going to look down upon me. I just want to jump back and smack them. And tell them, if you only knew who you're dealing with right now. You're a sucker. You can go to court and at least get visitation. You have to be in your kid's life. Because again, especially as a male, if you're not in your kid's life, there will be other males in your kid's life. Some of them may not be as productive. Some of them may not be as good-natured as you'd like them to be. And these are the kids. These are the people that your kids are gonna follow. Just makes me sick. I'm sorry I get upset with these deadbeat dads, losers. My baby mom won't let me. She's not. But shut up. Shut up. Shut up. You're just a loser. And you're living your life and you really don't want nothing to do with your kid. You may even love your kid. Oh, I love my kid. That's bullshit. You fucking love your kid. You do whatever the fuck you have to do to be next to them and be with them and near them and at least in their lives. Even weekends, I don't care. And this is what I know my boy's going through right now with his daughter passing. He's in the penitentiary, came to see her, nothing. He's in Fort Dix. She died in New York. I don't know how this is going to work. Are they going to let him go to the wake? Are they going to let him go to the funeral? Because sometimes they don't do that. I know dudes who have loved ones who passed and they couldn't go because they got word too late or whatever. And that's what happened with the dude in the box. This dude I know, he was in the box. His daughter got raped and she was murdered in one of the parks in Brooklyn back in the days. And they told him like 2-3 days later he was in the box. He had no communication, no nothing. A chaplain came to his cell. Told him what had happened, man. This dude lost his mind in his cell as he should have. And all he kept saying is, my fault, I wasn't there. I wasn't there for her. Next morning, they're bringing around breakfast. I hear the police say, hey, open up, such and such. They opened up his cell, man. I had to bring him out and all that was to see nurses rush. I didn't know what was going on because you can't really see, but you heard it. Nurses, you heard the walkie-talkies, you heard a bunch of things happening by himself. They took him out in a stretcher, he died, he killed himself. He hung himself in his cell. Because of the guilt he had from choosing the streets. These are his words. From choosing the streets over his family. Because a lot of these people get it mixed up, man, and they choose the streets, make the streets their family and all the rest of that stuff. And they're willing to you know, put their kids at risk. Because that's what happens, man. Especially if you got kids, you go to jail, guess what? Now your kids are out here to be raised by their fucking self in a one-parent household. And they're going to struggle. Because you want to be out here living a certain life. That's why I don't do nothing, man. My life is, I swear, I am a complete square. I am complete. I go to work and I'm home with my family. Because why? Because that's what's important, man. I'm sure my boy right now, he's struggling. He's struggling hard. I talked to him a little while ago. Struggling. And there was nothing I could say to him. That his daughter took her life. Because he started with that same thing that other guy had said. Damn, I feel it's my fault. What could I tell him? I'm like, bro, it's not your fault. You know, like, I just did what I could as a friend. But what can you tell him? A different era. These kids nowadays, like I said, these kids out here, you got to understand that their emotions are extreme. They don't just like someone, they love with passion right away. They don't just dislike somebody, they hate them. I hate that girl, I hate that boy. Because they're going through things, hormones, emotions, they're just trying to find their way in the world. And how they're trying to find their way in the world. How can they make it without parents being there and guiding them? You have to guide them. You have to guide them through the landmines that you've been through, that you've seen. This is why I do what I do. I ain't just all about jail stories. I could do that all day. I'm about uplifting, trying to help people. Trying to guide the next generation. Because you know what? You know what? Check this out. If you ask a lot of people what's America's greatest resource, they'll tell you all types of things. They'll tell you all types of things, you know, materialistic stuff. No, America's greatest resources are our kids. That's America's greatest resource because they're going to shape the next generation. But how can they do that on their own, man? How are they going to do that when a lot of us young men and men are being sent to prison? How are they going to do that when you in the streets running around with your hood and doing all this crazy shit and then you want to get in jail talking about I miss my kids? Fuck out of here. I'm so upset right now. I apologize, people, cursing, and I'm just very emotional. Knowing that this little girl, she's 13, my daughter's 12, it's like, Lord, please, enough. To all you little kids out there watching, believe me, there's something better than killing yourself. There's something better than taking your own life. There's people you can talk to. There's suicide hotlines. There's counselors. There's teachers. If you're being bullied, I don't care if people think this is snitching or not. I don't give a shit. When you're dealing with kids, this is a total different world. And people who can't defend themselves. Kids, if you're out there being bullied, you can tell a teacher, tell a counselor, tell a principal, tell your parents, tell an uncle, a brother, a sister, somebody. You're being bullied and not sure what to do, you can write me. PENTALES 5279 at Gmail. Pentales 5279 at Gmail. Or you can hit my DM if you have Instagram. PALERYDER 11367. Pale Rider. As soon as you type in Pale Rider and the number 1, I'm going to come up. You can DM me. If you have any problems, anything going on in school, you can talk to me. I will give you advice. I will point you in the right direction. I will help you. I think that's my next mission, man, because this is really bad. Too many kids is killing themselves over bullying and nonsense at school. Or something that was posted on Facebook, or something that's posted on Instagram about them. Because one of the 48 laws is you got to guard your reputation at all costs, and that's what half these kids don't understand that. So when they think they have a bad reputation, and it gets spread around, they don't see another alternative or another way out, and it's pretty disturbing, and it bothers the hell out of me. So again, parents, specifically the parents, you have to know what your kids are doing. You have to pay attention. You have to pay attention to mood changes, emotional things going on. You have to pay attention to every little thing. You have to pay attention to their phones. You have to pay attention to their Instagram, Snapchat. You know what? You better have Instagram too. Whatever they have, you better have too. I don't care what you got. I don't care if you got to make up dummy profile. I don't care what you got to do. But you need to be in tune with your kid's life. You don't need to just go to work, come home, and how is